Well, that was a complete and total show, wasn't it? Thanks, ABC News, for ruining presidential debates forever. Yes, I'm still on vacation, but I can't let this debate go without some commentary. My name's Larry O'Connor. You can call me Larry. Now, I know you're seeing a lot of analysis from last night's debate, and it's understandable. Everyone wants to analyze the debate, but I'm here to talk some sanity to you so that you're not on the ledge or anything, because Trump was destroyed. She was so presidential and she was great, and they fact-checked him, and it was terrible for Trump. Take a breath. Take a breath. Here's the first thing I need you to know. 8 years ago, every single expert that you're hearing from right now all said that Hillary Clinton cleaned Donald Trump's clock. In fact, they said that she swept all the debates. First time in American presidential history. It was a slam dunk. Trump is finished. How'd that work out? Do you remember Hillary's inauguration day? Yeah, neither does she. So calm down on all the experts and all the pundits telling you exactly how horrible Donald Trump was last night. Here's the thing about Donald Trump. Everyone in America knows who he is. Everyone in America knows exactly the kind of performance he's going to give. We've seen him in this stage before, not just in presidential debates for now the third presidential election cycle in a row, but also all through the primary debates where he was handling himself just fine in 2016, but exactly how you saw him last night. Nobody watching last night's debate walked away saying, I am shocked to see Donald Trump take Kamala Harris's bait and argue with her about these things. I'm shocked to see Donald Trump behave. No, this is who he is. We know that. There's no surprises there. What is a surprise to a lot of people is the Kamala Harris you saw last night. See, understand, the only Kamala Harris most Americans have seen, other than the pathetic, cackling, incompetent vice president for the last 3.5 years, is this hagiography that's been created, this mythology, this fiction that the media has created over the last 2 months about what an amazing human being she is. Well, when they tuned in last night to see her unfiltered, unedited, and actually having to respond to questions, well, she came across as a smartass, know-it-all sorority girl. She came across as a mean girl on campus who mocks people for whatever reason she chooses. And she came across as part of the cool kids club because the media was on her side. Yeah, we'll get to the media in a minute. But what they saw from Kamala Harris was somebody who was slick, who was polished, and didn't answer a single question directly. Some simple, fundamental questions like, have you made Americans' lives better over the last 3.5 years? I mean, that should be a pretty easy question to answer. I mean, I could even come up with some pretty great lies she could tell to try to get through that one, but she couldn't even do that. They also saw a woman who did whatever she could to avoid the reality of her record. It was all promises about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And that's where Trump absolutely shined at the end of the debate in his closing remarks. He said, hey, you heard some great things from Kamala Harris about what she plans to do. Ask yourself one question. Where the hell has she been the last 3.5 years? She's got all these great ideas. And if she can do all these great things, why hasn't she already done it? Now, frankly, I wish Donald Trump had started the debate that way. It would have been a great opening statement, Listen, you're going to hear a lot of things from my opponent today about what she plans to do. And every time she opens her mouth and tells you these great, grandiose plans, just ask yourself, where the hell has she been for 3.5 years? Either she hasn't cared enough about the American people to actually push these great ideas she's got into action, or Joe Biden thinks so little of her and thinks she's so incompetent that he didn't even give her a meeting in the Oval Office to hear her out. It's one of the two, right? I wish he had said that in the opening remarks. I wish he had done a lot of things. But the fact of the matter is, if most Americans, well, let me rephrase that. If there are any Americans out there who still aren't sure how they're going to vote in this election, if they were tuning in, what they saw was the Donald Trump that they've already grown to know and have strong feelings about one way or the other over the last 12 years of their lives. And they also saw a Donald Trump who once again was ganged up on, who was mistreated, who was bullied, who was facing a 3-against-1 situation. And they still made him a sympathetic character. See, the media doesn't understand this. The Democrats don't understand this. But every single time they bully this guy and pile up on this guy and attack this guy and treat him unfairly, they actually make him a sympathetic character. That's why in the last New York Times poll, if you look at the favorable, unfavorable, everyone's talking about this New York Times poll that came out on Monday that shows Trump winning nationally by 1 point. Again, we don't elect presidents nationally, right? Set that aside for a minute, though. Look at the favorable, unfavorable numbers. At this moment, based on that poll, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have identical favorable, unfavorable numbers. This is after everything they've thrown at Donald Trump. And they have identical favorable, unfavorable numbers. That's why the biggest takeaway from last night is that nobody's mind was changed about who Donald Trump was. What happened was that Kamala Harris was revealed to be the very thin, very shallow, memorized talking points candidate that she is, not an actual elected official who has ideas about how to make your life better. All Donald Trump had to do is what he did, which is show up and say, you know me, you know what I can do. Already did it for you. Why hasn't he done it? And that's what he did. See, he spoke to voters. Kamala Harris, well, she appealed to the most important people in her life, and that's the elites in the media and in pop culture, the late night comedians and people like that. They were thrilled because suddenly she actually played the character that they wanted her to play. Well, guess what? Those people were already in the tank for her. Actual voters were trying to get solutions about how their gas prices are going to go down, their food prices are going to go down, how their lives are going to be better. They got nothing from Kamala Harris. That's why, take a look at this graphic. This is from a CNN instant poll that was taken right after the debate. Donald Trump actually improved his standing with voters who want something done about the economy. And last I checked, the economy is going to be a pretty big issue in this debate. Now, let's get to ABC News. ABC News had a choice to make last night, and they decided they were going to throw down 100% with Kamala Harris. This was the end of whatever was left of the ABC News brand. ABC News does not stand for news and journalism and reporting anymore. ABC News stands for always be consistently for Democrats. That's fine. They made their choice. That's their brand. You know, we talk about The View a lot on this show, don't we? And we always joke about the fact and point out the fact that The View is under the umbrella of ABC News, not daytime game shows, not soap operas, not entertainment. No, The View is an ABC News show. I always point that out because this is news. This is news, The View. And the fact of the matter is, yes, as far as ABC is concerned, The View is the perfect example of their journalistic standards. The View perfectly represents the ABC News brand. I mean, we've come a long way from David Brinkley and Peter Jennings, but here they are, and they made that choice. Everyone, and I mean even Democrats, even people on the left watching last night had to concede that this was a pile-up, a complete and total pile-up on Donald Trump. They fact-checked him, 4 or 5 times, and never once fact-checked Kamala Harris on things like, well, the lie about Charlottesville, and very fine people on both sides, the lie about people dying due to violence from January 6th protesters. Didn't happen. Crime statistics in America, the fact that the FBI's numbers do not include major crime statistics from major cities, as Donald Trump pointed out. They let Kamala Harris lie about in vitro fertilization policies that Donald Trump is promoting. They let Kamala Harris lie about a potential federal ban on abortion that Donald Trump has bent over backwards to say that he would not sign. They let Kamala Harris lie about Project 2025 and whether Donald Trump had anything to do with Project 2025. They let Kamala Harris lie and lie. Oh, they let her lie about the bloodbath lie. They let her lie and lie and lie and never said a single thing to push back. Now, did Donald Trump exaggerate some things? Well, of course he did. He's a politician. That's not the point. The point is that ABC News decided in their roles as moderators that one of those candidates had to be fact-checked by them. And the other one got a free pass because, well, their agenda was not to moderate a debate. Their agenda was not to put a thumb or a finger on the scale. It was to jump on the scale with full force like a trampoline. and make sure that Kamala Harris was dragged across the finish line. Mission accomplished, ABC News. Also, there was something else that was incredibly insidious about the format of this debate that also was tantamount to journalistic, or at the very least, debate moderator malpractice. And that was this pattern. Donald Trump, you're a demon and a satanic cult leader who kills people and then eats their dead corpses. How do you respond? Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Great, thank you. Kamala Harris, your turn to reply. How do you feel about Donald Trump being the satanic cult leader who kills people and then eats their corpses? See, that was the format. That was how they asked questions. And the one relatively, barely, possibly, you could make an argument was some kind of hard question for Kamala Harris was asked at the very beginning. A simple one, too. Kamala Harris, how have you made the lives of American people better in the Biden-Harris administration in the last 3.5 years? She couldn't answer. She couldn't answer it. She wasn't prepared to answer that question, which tells you a lot about her debate preparation. Her debate preparation was to do exactly what she's been doing since she was crowned the nominee, which is to memorize her lines, play her part, and repeat her very well-rehearsed, memorized lines. And she did that. She did that just fine. Is that what the American people are looking for? Think about this. Don't think about the corporate media pundits. Don't think about the people on your Facebook page who are already rooting for Kamala Harris. And don't think about your squishy friends who wish Donald Trump was somebody that he's not. Because it's been 10 years now, and he's not going to be that guy. So stop it. No. Think about a handful of voters who still, inexplicably, have not made up their mind. What did they hear last night that would make them say, yep, Kamala's my gal? He's got the answers.